In this video today, we're going to be talking about how actors are like shamans. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. I am also the author of TPM, the Theatrical Plasticity Method. Now this is a book that I wrote when I was in college, and I decided my life would be a performance art piece. You see, I went to a liberal arts hipster college in the middle of nowhere. That was a perfect stage for me to actually start to explore different characters and start to really find and create who I was, okay? Now, I think it's very, very important to note here my background and experience with acting. I was fascinated with acting on stage. When I was younger, I was very, very drawn to improv comedy, okay? I loved to mimic voices, and in high school, I remember I did my first Indian accent, and everybody cracked up because, I never really had an Indian accent, but I was Indian, so I guess the image matched the voice or something, and everybody cracked up and they started laughing, and I could make fun of myself and poke holes in my own ego and start to reconstruct and actually get some, impact from the audience. It's like people would pay attention to me now, right? People will treat me differently now because they could see that I had this skill set. What actors have is a skill set that they've refined over many years. Even till now, I'm never complete with this process. It's just act 1, scene 1, act 1, scene 2, act 1, scene 3. So it keeps going, it keeps moving forward. Now I want to play you a very brief scene from an interview where Nicolas Cage explains his process being Nouveau Shamanic. Here we go.
You've developed an acting discipline that you've referred to as Nouveau Shamanic, is that correct?
Yeah.
What are the core principles?
I've been told that all actors really hail from the early medicine men and the shamans in the villages pre-Christianity, where they would put on masks and act out, and really they were probably pretty crazy, but they would go in and find answers to questions. Today you're called psychotic if you do that. But it's all semantics. So what I would do is I'd put on Afro-Caribbean paint, like a white and black paint, and black out my eyes so I look like this sort of Afro-Caribbean voodoo icon. And then I would sew in bits of Egyptian artifacts that were thousands of years old into my costume and gather some onyx or tourmaline or something that was meant to have vibrations. And who knows if it works or doesn't, but for me it was an idea of like trying to stimulate my mind or trick my mind into believing I was this character from another dimension. And I would walk on the set and then wouldn't speak to anybody, wouldn't say a word, so I projected this aura of horror, which created fear in my fellow actors, which then inspired me to believe I really was this character.
When director John Boorman went into the rainforests of Brazil, he met with a shaman by the name of Takuma. And he was wondering how he would bring up this idea with a man who doesn't watch movies or television or anything like that. And he started to explain to him. He said, I told him how one scene would stop and another began in a different place, and time as it does in a dream. And the shaman lit up, grasping that. Told him some of the tricks and wonders we got up to. Finally, he was satisfied. The shaman responded, you make visions, magic. You are a paje like me. He said, you are a paje like me. Paje, I believe, means servant. I could be wrong, but I think it means servant. All those ancient societies have at their head people with special powers. These people have the ability to transform themselves in public performances from their normal personality to something else, into a god, into an animal, to an ancient ancestor, a representation of a spirit. Their crucial role in society is to transcend the boundaries of their own identity, follow a path to personal knowledge, and in dramatic performance to lead the audience into ritual journeys into their own psyche. They're the mystics, the magical seers, and creators of their visions. These people, who are called sorcerers or shamans or medicine men, were the first original actors. Now there's technicians, stagehands, directors, but I think at the center of all of that comes the actor. The actor provides the path, the key to have an identifiable character who can unlock these visions for us. Actors were chosen to communicate with the spirit world. So actors, shamans used to manifest the spirit in their theatrical performances, in which they were believed to fly to the spirit world and being possessed by or become the spirits themselves. This view that actors are these people with extraordinary abilities go across cultures, from Oriental cultures to South America to Africa, but also Western societies. They needed this image of the actor as the healer, because actors were essentially these performing mystics. Now, there are some instances where more modern day actors experience some weird paranormal things similar to those mystics. Actress Shirley MacLaine reports sensations of traveling out of her body and seeing herself from a disembodied state, an experience accompanied by ecstatic emotions and visions. This is also like the traditional actor flying across the spirit realm, right, and coming back to their regular life. I think they're there to discover the secrets in that place, and then they're there to channel it and bring it here into the now. Shirley MacLaine also talks about her work in relation to self-discovery. She said, "I need to reach inside me and touch me if I was going to understand the world and be any good in my work. But this inner understanding is not gained through a process of self-absorption. I love to be involved with concerns outside of myself because, to be honest, I believe that I was actually in my path to understanding myself." There is a hidden power in acting. It's that the energy in performance that's directed outwards away from the self. The work has an external target. So just as in Zen, or in the art of archery, where you have this single-pointed dharana, this consciousness, which is associated with a state of oneness, the archer's concentration on that oneness releases these hidden powers. So in a way, the path of the actor is a Zen-like process of self-discovery. Liv Ullmann says actors have this intimate contact with themselves and in their own internal emotions so that they can get closer to other people. It doesn't make you a great conversationalist or a great beauty or a great mind, but what it does do, it makes you aware that you're a part of this living process because you have this emotional intelligence, right? So I spoke about this idea with Joshua Mesnick, who is an actor. He's a friend that I know. And you'll get this interview if you sign up for Writing Reality, okay? And he and I spoke about this idea of the actor being the channeler, the actor being seen as the sorcerer, the mystic, the medicine man, the healer. And I think it's very, very important for us to be this Nouveau Shamanic version of ourselves, where we start to become our own mythologies. And this is what I'm trying to do with my character. And I'm saying it very out in the open because I have decided for myself that this is what I want to do with my life, and nobody else can describe and define what that is for me. Okay, I'm here to incorporate and create that ecstasis through my own experience of being tapped into this theatrical process. Sometimes the actor's knowledge of self releases into a catharsis of emotion, which is way better than any kind of therapy, I think. Like Marlon Brando, after he explored some of the violence in The Wild Ones, he told himself that after I did that, it was gone forever, right? That internal violence within me. When a dramatic role gets you to explore a highly charged aspect of yourself, maybe it's a triggered aspect of yourself or a hidden aspect, a repressed aspect, a shadow aspect that needs to work to be released, the result can be actually very powerful. The energy is focused inwards to focus on the actor's own past experiences, this is method acting, and bring them into their consciousness and subject them to a detailed analysis. They connect with the past in a very intuitive way, and that inner material is then there to breathe life into the character that they're playing. Inner emotion remains inner emotion, but all it's doing is it's being expressed through a portal, which is that character. Now, sometimes we might think of this as a rapture or possession, or you can be terrified of this kind of thing, right? Primitive actors, you would say, enter these states of mind that we would label pathological, like they're crazy. And yet, some of them remain unscathed and they learn lots of lessons about life. Take Jim Carrey, for instance, I would say that he's very awakened. in terms of what is going on. The way that he's able to say that, to be depressed is deep rest, and depression is telling you to stop being the character that you're playing. It's too much, right? And I think he's gone through this entire process of really exploring that metaphor of theater, similar to as I have. I've explored this idea too, is when you're suicidal, when you want to kill yourself, you don't want to kill yourself, you want to kill the character that you've been playing, because it's not you. It's really not you. So it's kind of a healing madness that Brando shares with these performing mystics in traditional societies. Ben Kingsley, he played Gandhi in a movie, and he also played Hamlet with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and years later, he said, "It allowed me to explore myself so profoundly that I believe the experience changed and restructured my whole life. From Hamlet onwards, I allowed myself to surprise myself, and I did that by becoming more and more still." So this inner stillness that an actor goes through, they go back to their origin point, they go back to their core beingness, right? It's a personal center, a point of power, and linking it strongly with external action is the basis of an actor's presence. There's not self-consciousness, other consciousness. The capacity to hold the attention and command of the concentration of the audience. The ability to hold the attention and capture people's attention is actually what makes actors very, very proficient in their craft. But not only that, it makes them prosperous, right? We pay money, but we pay attention to, and actors have this ability to have people's attention on them. Notice the people who are getting the most attention, like celebrities and, athletes, are getting more eyes on them, more attention, therefore more dollars. Why are social media stars getting paid so much? Because they have eyes on them, they have reach on them. Think about this. Really, really think about this. All we need to do is explore the world of the actor with fresh eyes. Not through film critic, but it's through the newness, the novelty of the moment, and really being able to experience that ecstasis itself of being on stage or being in an improv. If you've ever acted on stage, you know the feeling of completely losing yourself, right? And it's actually such a profound feeling. That's where I first tapped into the flow state, was on stage. As you guys know this story. A lot of you do. Maybe you're new to this channel and you don't. This is where I first started exploring into the flow state, was when I was on stage and I had eyes on me during performance. But guess what? Our life is a performance. And guess what? You are my audience right now, and I'm the one on stage giving this lecture, giving this speech to you guys. And it is through a camera, but guess what? What if cameras were all around you? That's a process, one of the concepts in my book, TPM, as well. So we don't need the dramatic literature, the analysis from popular culture about theatrics. What we need to do is go into the experience of the actor himself or herself. An examination of the inner world of the actor shows us about the experience of life, which becomes a renewed path to self-knowledge and power. And it's not just a very academic thing of being tapped into it. Of course, a lot of the stuff that I'm pulling from is from my own research. However, understand that it's the process of being alive. That's what an actor does. They're alive on stage. They have vitality, they have vivacity, they have this glow about them. And I understand that sometimes people are overdramatic, right? And it can be very intimidating, but the greatest actors, they're not acting in melodrama. That's a theater actor. Would often go into melodrama and like, oh, where art thou, right? You don't need to do that. Just a subtle head tilt. An inner emotion, an image in the mind, a feeling, a subtlety, going into your own emotions, being able to process them. And once you process and heal your own emotions as an actor, or even outside as an actor, as a person, you're giving other people permission to do the same. You're giving every single person who is the audience member this understanding, this aha moment, this breakthrough, where they understand and they resonate with that frequency. And as the actor is going into the depths of that own world, that mirror neurons are firing off in the minds of the people watching. So beware of that. You have a very, very big responsibility when you are in performance, anywhere, in your life, on stage, or simply you showing up as you. I hope this helped you get a new perspective. Remember, you are the Nouveau Shamanic actor. You are the actor shaman in your own life. Channel those energies, channel those frequencies, and be able to change the world. Let's go. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and never be the same again. Stay legendary. Let's go. Boom.